Hello again, everyone. My name is Mark Walmsley, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community, I think, of over 160,000 now across our 8 LinkedIn groups and elsewhere. I don't get to meet everybody, as you can imagine, but when I do, it's a delight, and that is absolutely the case today. Louise Duggan has joined me. Louise, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Louise is one of our full members, and we're entirely member funded, so that's very much appreciated, Louise. Thank you. We're going to have some fun today. I've got a time machine and a magic wand at my disposal. I'm going to create a fantasy cultural year for you based on the work you do. So before
Perfect.
we leap into that, perhaps you'd like to say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Of course, thank you. My name's Louise Duggan. I'm based down in Chichester, the southeast of England. Prior to that, I was in Dubai for 23 years. I set up Ophelia Art Consultancy, having finished my art degree, moved into interior design, and then I set up the company, which we specialize mainly in artwork accessories for five-star hotels, predominantly in the Middle East. Since then, I've also developed business and mentoring and business coaching for creatives. So that's another arm that Ophelia now offers. And then a year ago, I founded the Sussex Creative Art Network, CIC. So it's a community interest non-profit organisation. And on top of that, I'm also a professional artist. And any spare minute, I'm trying to create new collections.
That's a lovely way to fill your life with art in different kinds. When heaven knows when you sleep,
I
but
know, trust me.
excellent. Well, that's given me some inspiration for your fantasy cultural year. So we'll dive straight in if that's okay.
Perfect. I'm excited
Um,
where I go.
follow my lead. I've done lots of these. It's a lovely way of pulling out anecdotes and preferences and surprises quite often, and sometimes a conversational detour. So now I need to place you somewhere in the world, and I'm going to do that by asking you, what's your favorite building?
So a really good question, because the way my brain often works is it's more about what it felt like. So often I don't recall the building, but I'll remember that I was in awe or perhaps not. Having lived in the Middle East for so long, we did see some beautiful mosques, and I definitely was very much in awe when I went to the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. The symmetry was incredible.
Right, let's show everyone, shall we? Quickly. I've just got some images up on Google. There we go. There, look at that.
Oh, it's stunning.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really stunning.
That is just incredible. There
The
we are.
detail on the floor, the detail in the carpet,
Yeah,
it's incredible.
that is wonderful.
Mm.
Fantastic. Excellent. Now, I'd like you to imagine that there's a pop-up cafe in view of the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, okay? And you're sitting there on a lovely warm summer evening, and there is at a table and there is a drink by your side. What would we find there?
Oh, coffee and water.
Coffee and water and a book. There's a book there as well. What would we
Due
find?
to the location, it would also be coffee and water. However, I don't drink, so coffee and water suits me. A book. Oh, do you know a book I really loved? The Elegance of a Hedgehog.
Wow.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't. I always
Pop
love
it on
doing
your
these.
list. It's a beautiful book.
Of The Elegance of the Hedgehog
Yeah,
by
The Elegance of
Muriel Barberry.
Yes. It's a beautiful
Um,
book.
uh, yeah, 12-year-old Paloma Joss is determined to avoid the pampered and vacuous future laid out for her and decides to end her life on her 13th birthday. Wow. That's,
Um,
is that the right one? Yeah.
no.
No. Okay.
I could have got the name wrong. Hang on.
Um,
It's based in France.
okay.
Oh, the hedgehog.
Um, mm, mm, mm.
A moving, funny, triumphant novel that exalts the quiet victories of the inconspicuous amongst us.
Nice. That's great. That's good. And is it still is it the elegance of the hedgehog? Yeah. French or yeah,
The
potentially.
Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbary.
There we go. That got it.
I read that a long time ago, but it was one of those that stayed with me because I don't often read fiction.
Mm.
But it was certainly a book that stayed with me.
So that's there. Excellent. Now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've come away from a meeting um, with a wealthy family foundation based in the Middle East.
Hmm.
Mm. They would like to hire you for a year because what they love supporting emerging artists. Okay.
Perfect.
They have a plan to set up galleries in major cities around the world or smaller towns potentially, where the emerging artists need the most support and visibility. So you're going to travel the world. It's first
Mhm.
class all the way. There's a big fee. Business is sorted out for you while you're away. Family and friends can come and visit wherever you get to. And there'll be a TED talk in it when you get back. A TV crew is going to follow you, and there's a book deal. And when you get back, you're going to do a global university lecture tour on how different countries have found ways to support emerging artists.
I
So
think if I had a schedule like that, I'd probably need a year to take off.
so that's the plan. Now, I need to place you somewhere in the world. So where shall we go first?
If I could choose a destination, it would be Japan. I've never been, it's on my bucket list. I almost got there, but I haven't done that trip yet. So it's a huge place, obviously,
Yeah.
but that
We're
would
going to do a little mini tour. We'll do Kobe, Kyoto, and Tokyo. So you're on the plane, okay? You turned left on the plane because you're traveling first class. And a steward brings you a coffee and some water and a note from the Family Foundation. They have a challenge for you. It's a musical challenge. They'd like you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre or type of music for 12 months to the exclusion of all.
oh, easy.
What's it going to be?
Dub. I love dub music. They're kind of
Okay,
reggae and dub. Yeah, for sure.
perfect.
I'd be quite
Okay.
relaxed.
Now you get to Tokyo, and a group of young emerging artists have been asked to take you under their wing. They whisk you off to a loft apartment overlooking a cherry orchard and a palace in Tokyo, and they say, we're going to come back later, but meantime, relax, unpack, and we'll come back. We're going to take you to a dance performance, and then we're going to take you out to dinner. Now, because I have a magic wand and a time machine, you don't have to remain in the culture of the country that you're in. But if I could put any dance performance on a stage in front of you, any dancers living or not,
Oh,
any dance group, any dance style, what would it be?
I'd love to sit round a fire watching Maasai tribesmen dancing.
Fantastic. In Tokyo. Wow, it's great.
You're going to use all those magic wands now.
Oh yeah, we are. Yes. Now dinner. They're taking you out to dinner. Now
Oh,
Tokyo has national cuisine from all over the world. What's your favorite?
Japanese.
You'd stayed at Japanese.
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. Right, brilliant. Okay, we're going to buzz again. Okay, this is fast and furious. Where are we going next?
Do you know somewhere I wouldn't mind going, although I don't know if I'd be able to cope with the weather? Iceland. I think that would be quite
Iceland.
interesting. Yeah, I've got no expectations of what that would be like. So that would be quite exciting.
Fantastic. So we arrive in Reykjavik.
Mm.
We find out that it's sport day in Iceland. Perhaps it's Saturday. Now we had breakdancing in the Olympics last year, so some sport can be considered performance art. If you had to watch a sporting event for a couple of hours and could choose anything you liked, what would you go for?
Easy, equestrian. I love
Equestrian.
horses. When I lived in Dubai, I had two rescue horses. I'm a
Mm.
terrible rider. I'm quite nervous. But I just love being around them. So watching them at that level would be incredible.
So we're fortunate the World Championships are in Reykjavik while you're there. So that's great.
Good.
Now let's buzz again. Where are we going next from Reykjavik?
Do you know, I watched a documentary the other day and I've been to India before, but being older now, I'd like to go again.
Okay, whereabouts in India would you like to go to?
Good question. Not sure, if I'm honest. I would be traveling around.
Okay, we'll land in Mumbai, and
Mm.
then you can travel. Now in Mumbai, there is a new digitally enhanced art gallery in our fantasy world, in which you can put on a set of virtual reality glasses and headset, and you can step into the work of a famous artist. It becomes three-dimensional, 360 degrees,
Frida
animated.
Kahlo.
Frida.
Frida Kahlo. Wouldn't you love that?
I know most of her pictures are of her though, aren't they?
Yes, but you could go behind them and look at them and the little details and the monkey on her shoulder and more of a surrealist work. You could
Yeah,
really have a look at the details.
that's a lovely choice.
Yeah, no, I'd love that.
Frida
To be honest, there'd be a lot of artists I'd like to, but she's the one that sprung to mind.
Brilliant. That's lovely. Now I'm going to whisk you back to London. We're going out together every night during the week. On Monday, we're going to a historical music performance of any
Hmm.
kind. Tuesday, we're going to the theatre. Wednesday, we're going to see a Broadway or West End musical. Thursday is opera, and Friday is movies. And between us, we can choose what we see. Okay, but we still have the magic wand and the time machine.
Hmm.
So for Monday, is there a musical performance that you went to that you would love to be able to go back in time and re-experience?
Honestly, no.
Is
I
there a performance
can't
then?
think of a musical performance that I've seen that um, yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine, because I have a supplementary question for that.
good. What would you have chosen? Seeing as we
Oh,
both choose.
yeah, we're both choosing.
And so when have no idea, it's like I know later on in the week is opera. I've never been and I would love to,
Oh,
but I
well,
need advice on which one to go to as
yes,
a newbie.
yes. So I have a slight different, when I was 9, I went to Ronnie Scott's and saw Buddy Rich.
Oh, gorgeous.
And he gave me a pair of sticks backstage,
Wow.
and I was a percussionist for most of my
Oh, yes, I remember you mentioning it. Yeah.
so that's the one I would go back to. I might not wear the fringed leather jacket that I had on in the 1970s
Ronnie
as a
Scott's, I would agree to that. I'd say that sounds
Ronnie
fantastic. I'd be
Scott.
really up for that.
Was
I grew up from the age of 4. My parents were working in Nigeria, so there was a lot of cultural elements that we didn't kind of go to. And then obviously I went to boarding school in the UK. So I do remember I found it the other day actually, seeing Coriolanus at the Chichester Festival Theatre,
mm,
Kenneth Branagh and Dame Judi Dench, and I found the programme. I remember that.
yeah, well,
Remember,
that's Tuesday
Tuesday
covered.
sorted.
Theatre
Tuesday
player, that's
sorted.
fantastic. Coriolanus would
Yeah,
be great.
yeah.
My biggest regret was never seeing Bob Marley live. So,
Oh, that would have been
and I
incredible.
could have done.
Oh,
Late 70s, the Rainbow. Yeah, I could have gone, but chose not to. And then he died in 81.
oh no, no.
Yeah, that was that. So we've done the theatre one, Coriolanus, Back
Definitely.
in Time. There
Yeah.
we go. Was that local? Where were you then? Where were you
I
based?
was at school on the Isle of Wight, so there was
So
like
was that in Chichester or
yeah. So we came over for the day to the theatre.
at the Festival Theatre?
At the Festival Theatre.
Yeah,
The irony is I now live, just down the road from it.
I know, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chichester Festival Theatre's got a reputation for being the warm-up for a
Yes.
London run, hasn't it?
Yes. And I
So,
can see you've got Hamlet coming up, so I have it in my notes to have a little look,
wow,
maybe book it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wednesday is a West End or Broadway musical. What do you fancy?
Do you know, I've never been to any of the big ones. So again, I'd probably ask a recommendation. What would be lively and fun? Um,
Um, Wicked's always a good shout.
yeah.
Or a classic um, would be Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Great. Or
I will do it at some point, but it's something I've never actually done.
I played as a percussionist. I was in a show in Shaftesbury Avenue for many years.
Oh, wow. That must have been incredible.
It was great fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was really good fun. Excellent. Now for opera, I'm going to, and it's on in September.
Oh,
At the Royal Opera House, Tosca by Puccini.
mhm.
A tragic story. It's all of the best bits that opera can give you. Wonderful acting, fantastic dancing.
Brilliant. And that's in
Um,
September.
yeah, have a look. There's
Yeah,
tickets
I'm
still
going to.
available.
I'm
Um,
going to.
Royal Opera House. Tell me if you do, because I want to go
Yeah,
as well.
you know I will for sure.
This is when our fantasy cultural year becomes reality. That would be
Yes, so all of a sudden everyone's booking tickets all over
yeah.
town.
And now film night. We're at the IMAX at Waterloo Bridge. We've got the best seats in the house together. Wonderful, huge screen, fantastic sound. What would you like to watch?
I don't know. Good question. The other day, I don't go to the cinema very often, as you can tell by my answer. So I actually don't even know what. Um, it's probably because years ago I worked in a cinema and the smell of popcorn. But as a student, the other night they've got a film festival on here actually, and I booked a ticket for the David Lynch documentary, The Art Life or The Artist Life. I think it's The Art Way or something like that.
Mm.
But it was in a mobile theatre. Literally, it's the back of a truck.
Oh,
It
wow.
was excellent. It was,
Uh,
and it was really comfortable because, as you can see, I keep fidgeting because my back sometimes hurts. It was excellent.
well,
Uh,
we'll both do that together then.
yes, and
Yeah,
perhaps that on a bigger screen would have been, even better. But
yeah.
something
Excellent.
that kind of engages me pretty quickly.
Mhm. So that's our fantasy week done. Now, before I send you off for the rest of the traveling and research you're going to do, and before you do all the lovely things that lead to the TED Talk, the TV show, the book deal, the whole thing, I'm going to give you a
Whole
hero,
9 yards.
whole 9 yards. I'm going to put you in a modern Japanese three Michelin star restaurant in London. And I booked a nice leisurely 2 hour lunch for you, and you can invite any one person. Okay,
Oh,
living or not, famous or otherwise. Who would you invite?
I watched him on a podcast yesterday, and I had a lot of interesting ideas, and it was Stephen Fry.
Mm. I often joke that with people. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Um, I often joke to people, I'm glad that I'm not more intelligent than I am because I find things interesting. He must struggle with that. Right?
So sharp
Oh, so knowledgeable.
and so vulnerable when discussing his own,
Yeah,
journey. Incredible. I really
yeah,
enjoyed
that's a great choice. Now, in a slight twist to that question, who would Stephen invite?
Tracy Emin.
Nice. She and I are exactly the same age, by the way.
Really?
Yes. Um,
There's something up in Margate on Saturday, actually. I'm just looking at the logistics of whether I could go
yeah,
on.
because
Yeah,
that's her patch, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
She's built a gallery there, I think, hasn't
Yeah,
she?
they're doing a kind of summer show.
Oh, fantastic.
Just literally
Yeah,
looking at Google
that's,
Maps to see if I can.
yeah,
Mm,
fantastic. Excellent. So there we go, Louise. That's your
perfect.
fantasy cultural year. That's been really good fun. Thank you so much for doing that. We did a whistle stop tour of
Thank you.
that. All of those wonderful benefits come, and you become the go-to person for commentary about emerging artists and how to support them.
It's certainly something we're working on here. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
that
wherever this appears, there'll be links to you and your work. This will be on YouTube, on Spotify, and on SoundCloud as well, and then of course on the website, and then on LinkedIn. But please don't dash off. But for the time being, thank you once again for being one of our full members. That's how it
absolute
works.
pleasure. Thank you.
And that's been great fun. Thank you so much. Have you enjoyed your fantasy cultural
I
year?
have, I have, and it makes me feel as if there's an awful lot of other things that I don't do because I am quite busy. The cinema is one of them. But yes, thank you so much. Really good fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise.